Hello everyone, welcome to this video. All right, in this video, I will be sharing on how you can make use of the Microsoft Excel platform to compute your GPA. All right, just like I did in one of the tutorials on Microsoft Word, this is actually a session I had with my students in which I'm taking Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint class, and I just wanted to do this video for them, but I also thought that there may be people in the public who would also need this learning. Right, so I will be using this particular example on the Excel worksheet in order to share the process. All right, like you can see, it's available in raw. I have the title, GPA calculator, the name of the student, the student matric number, this is a dummy matric number, and then serial number, course code. Okay, so these are sample course code using example from my university, and also these are course title, just dummy course title, course unit, CA4, exam 60 marks, the CA over 40, the exam 60 marks, the total 100, the grade index, and the grade point. So the reason why I've not written all of this is because I want to do the formatting where you are so you can learn one or two things and also get insight from this video. All right, now, for example, I have this GPA calculator, but I want to reformat. So what I can do is I can select all of the cells and then decide to go to my margin center, just click margin center so it comes to the margin center. Now on this particular thing, I can decide to change the color of the text. I can increase the color of the text. I can decide to increase. I can decide I want to maybe use another font style. So let me say I want to use Siri, for example. Let's assume I love this. I can make it bold. I can italicize. I can underline if I want. All right. Then I can also do the same for this name. I can do the same for this name, merge and center. Do the same for the matric number, merge and center. Okay, so I can come here and increase the size. Do this, can leave it as this, or decide to change the font color if I want. And just to minimize this, I can decide any color I want to use and then just include it there. So depending on what I want, so I can just leave it the way it is. Then I also have my matric number, mark and center. Okay, so I make this bold. I can increase this. Um, Change this also, and I can decide to change this also. Um, Use it to the best that I want to have, and then move on, move on, move on, move on, get that done. In the same way, I can also include my shading. I can fill the color on the background, decide to give it something nice, depending on what I want. I can come here also, change the color, just to beautify what I have here in the way that I think it makes sense. And then you can come here also, give it also a color depending on how you want it to appear. So let's say I'm done with formatting this, for example. Let's assume I'm done with formatting this. Then I want to move on to something else. Let me change this. Let me change this. Let's say I want to make use of Arial and maybe increase this a bit. Now I can do the same for all of this. Just select all of these. Um, I love using Sensory sometimes. And let's say this is what we have. Then I decide to make this heading to become bold. All right. Now, some way, because I can't see this completely, if I want to see it completely, I can just come in between my column A and B, and then um, I'm going to see this control option and then double click. It will adjust to the largest size. I can double click, come here, 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 double click. Okay, so it fits correctly in there. Or if I also want, I can select this, select all of the headings, and just come to the alignment property and then click on wrap text. So by wrapping text, it means that if I want to auto adjust this, so it can wrap, I can come here and double click so it can wrap across. So I can have it this way too if I want. I can also do this. I can also do this. All right. So I hope that is clear to this point. Um, I hope that's clear to this point. So we can just move on. Let's move on. So now I want to create a line across this now. I will just come to my font property. I will see my border option. I will just click on all borders. So it creates a line across all of that. Now I want to create serial number without having to type 1, 2, 3. So what you simply do is you type your 1, you type your 2, you type 1 where 1 should be, 2 where it should be, select the 2, then come to your bottom right. When you have the very dark arrow, you just double click so it increases. So what it simply does is that when it sees 1 and 2, it understands the progression and then does for the remaining one. Now I want to create random value for my CA score. So for this institution now, the total CA is 40, the exam is 60, and then they have a total of 100 mark. So now what I can do right here now is I want to create random value, maybe from 0 to 40 for all of this. So I'll say equals to rand, equals to rand between, so it's supposed to be 0, comma 40, I close, um, enter. Sorry, rand between, sorry, I did a dot, 0 comma 40. So you can always look up here, you see it clearly. Rand between, let me see if I can, so between 0 and 40, enter. So it generates a random value for me. Okay, so when it generates a random value, I can auto compute the remaining one. You can see whenever I come here, this is square plus for selection. This is a compute cross plus for auto compute. So I auto compute. So you see random CS code generated. I want to do the same thing for over 60. So equals to rand between. So that's random number between open brackets between 0 and 60. Why? Because the maximum score I can get is 60. I press enter and then auto compute. So the thing with this guy is that of course it's random. It can always change per time because at every instance you perform something new on the Excel spreadsheet, it does something, it always generates a random number. But if you want, you can always just type your number. But for learning purpose, that is why that is why we are making use of a random option. Now I want to calculate the total. Now the total score is the CA score plus the exam score. So what do? I will say equals to, I'll select E5, so which means because this CA score is on cell E5, the column, then the row. So E5 here, you see E here, you see 5 here. So the column, wherever a column and a row meets is called a cell. So this is cell E5 plus cell F5, okay, where you have the exam score. Then you press enter. When you have done that, you auto compute. Now we have done this and now we have the total score. The next one I want to do is to get the grade. Okay. Now the grade is such that you have whenever someone scores between 70 and 100, it means the person has, the grade is A. The person has between 60 and 69, 60 and 69, the person has a B. If it's between 50 and 59, the person has a C. Between 45 and 49, that's a D. Between 40 and 44, that's an E. That's an E. And then if the person has between 0 and 39, that's an F. Okay, so you need to be able to pay attention to this so that you can write your argument correctly, because you want to create a conditional statement and you want to have it such that when someone has between 70 and 100, the grade will be A. Between 60 and 69, the grade will be B. Between 50 and 59 is X, the grade to C. Between 45 and 49 is a D. 40 to 44 E. And between 0 and 39, that's an F. Now, what do you do? Let me go back there. Now, you come to where you want to impute that grade. Now, for every computation, you always start with an equals to. So you have an equals to, and then, it's in cell H5, okay? But the total that will determine this is G5, okay? Escape. So it's G5. So we would always refer to G5 whenever we want to create that condition. Why? Because this is where our total score is. Come in here, then what I type is equals to, I'll say if you open bracket, remember what we said about G5. G5 is where the total is. So I would say if G5 is greater than, 70 upward, all right? So 70 up to 100. So if G5 is greater than, say, 70, for example, no, not 70, because 70 is inclusive. If you want to include 70, you say greater than or equal to 70. Okay, but it's also the same thing as saying greater than 69. I'll say comma. Then in a code, I'll say A. It means I want you to put there A. If of call where G5 is greater than 69. Another comma, I will now say if G5 now is greater than or equals to 59. That's from 60 up to 69. Okay, comma, put a B there. Then I say if again. Okay, you see the progression. If G5 is greater than, no, it's equals to is not meant to be here. Okay, so I've done for A, I've done for B, I want to do for C. If it's greater than 49 now, comma, I'll say put a C there. Comma again, if G5 is greater than, so I've done for A, I've done for B, I've done for C. So if it's greater than 44, so what do you have? D. If, continue again, G, we've done for A, B, C, D. So if G5 is greater than what? 39, that's going to be an E, okay, comma, then if G5 is less than 40, what do you have? The person has an F. So the next thing you must take note of is the number of times you open a bracket has to be the number of times that you close the bracket. So it will begin to close. So we opened it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So we close it 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's the formula for us to get it. So I will just copy this. I'll copy this and then come here and then paste. All right, you can see it did that straight up. Why? The total score here is 30. Now let me also compute the remaining one. Okay, you can see here 58C, 58C, 72A, 95A, 11F, because it's between 0 and 39, 81A, 50C, 27F, 37F, 63B, 72A. All right, so it means our formula is correct. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to compute the grade index. Now, how do you compute grade index? Now, this is the idea around grade index. Sorry for that flash. This is the idea around grade index. If the person has A, the grade index there is 1. If the person had, no, is 5. Sorry, not 1, 5. If the person has B, the grade index is 4. If the person has a C, the grade index is 3. D, that's 2. E, that's 1. And then F, that is what? F is 0. Now, where do we have our grade? Because this grade is what we want to use to get the grade index. So we have our grade in cell H5. All right. Now you have to look at this very, very critically. Cell H5. Now, what do I do? I'll say equals to if H5, where you have the grade now, is equals to now A. Now, why am I putting this in code? Because it's a string. Whenever you want to identify numbers, you don't put in code, but whenever you want to identify string values, that's character, alphabet, alphanumeric values, you make use of string. Okay. So if H5 is A, then I want you to put 5 there, comma, comma again. If H5 equals B, all right. So in quotes again, don't forget, equals B, put 4 there. Then if H5 equals C, put 3. If H5 equals D, put 2. If H5 equals E, put 1. Okay, then if, open bracket, H5 equals F, put 0. The same way I close bracket the number of times I've opened, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll copy this and then take in there in order to compute my value. So I come in here, equals to, you can see A is, you see grade A is 5. Let's auto compute the rest. You see D2, F0, C3, C3, F0, like that, like that, like that. So it does that. Now the next thing is I want to compute the grade point. Now, How do you get the grade point? The grade point is the course unit times the grade index. The course unit times the grade index. So I'll just say equals to my course unit is on D5. So that will be D5 times, which is your asterisk, times where you have your grade point, which is I5. Then I press enter. Then I also compute the remaining one. So you see, this times this is 0, this times this is 4, this times this is 10. Now, what's the next thing I want to do? My GPA is usually my total grade point divided my total course unit. So I have to find the total course unit. Now, I'm leaving spaces here, and I'll tell you why I'm leaving spaces. Because, for example, this is just for the first semester. If subsequently I want to keep computing for other courses, maybe when I get to second semester, I want to add new one, it's easier for me to add. So I will just calculate the total here. I will say equals to sum. Okay, I want to find the total. So I will just select all of these from D1 up to from D1 up to D15. All right. Then I press enter. So my total unit is 17. Don't calculate my total grade point, which will be equals to my sum, open bracket. So I'll get all the summation here. Okay, so I have J5 to J15. I press enter. So my total grade point is 53. Let me make this